of the kitchen, and he just looks. Sometimes it makes me nervous because he's like laying right in front of me in front of the stove. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, like
I need
no.
to, you know.
This can be danger situation.
Gone are the days where I thought he might jump on the stove. Like, he won't do that. But he gives me a look like, we're going to eat this together, right? You know what I mean?
That's so
like,
cute.
I'm here. I'm helping you. So
That's so cute.
Kai one time
right?
opened the oven, pulled the pizza box out of the oven, and closed the oven, and then proceeded to eat the pizza, and then closed the lid on the pizza. So we walked in, and thankfully we have Ring cameras that caught it all. But we walked in, and it was just an empty pizza box sitting on the floor. Like, where the hell did this come from? And then we checked the oven, and yeah, our leftover pizza had been taken out of the oven, and he ate it, and then closed it. He just couldn't put the box back in the oven.
I don't know if I told you guys this story or not, but it wasn't even when I first adopted Otis. He had been with me for a while, but we had recently moved to a new apartment. You know, so there was a little bit of, you know, he was upset and getting crated when, you know, I would go out without him. And came home one night with a friend, and, you know, we had been, like, not even gone for, I mean, maybe we were gone for 2 hours. And we walk up my apartment had some stairs. We walk up the stairs, and Otis is just, like, sitting there, like, hi. And I'm like, why aren't you in your crate? My friend's Bose headphones torn apart.
Oh.
And Otis had managed to turn one of my oven burners on.
Oh, my God.
I was like, we almost burned the neighborhood down. That is not good. So for like years, we don't do it anymore because he's fine now. But like every time I left the house, I would take all of the things off of the stovetop.
Yeah.
You know, so that he couldn't do it again.
Yikes.
I don't think he was doing it to be like rude.
Malicious.
I think he was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat things and turn
Knobs
things
are
on.
fun.
Yeah, being a dog. Yeah, he was only 2 at that point. He's 9 now, so he's like, all I want to do is like have a quick walk.
Yeah.
Once or twice a day.
Sawyer got to
that's
that
it.
point. Yeah. Sawyer got to that point where he was like, do I need to go outside? I mean, let's just.
I want to tinkle, I want to
fine,
nibble,
I'll
I
go do
want to
my
cuddle.
business. Yeah. He's
There
like,
are
"Let's just go
definitely,
back in."
there are definitely times where Otis will he'll be like staring into my eyes, and I'm like, do you want to go out? And he's like, no, I just want to look at you. I'm like, okay, all right, we have to go out.
42,
We have to
you
go
say.
out at least twice a day, okay?
42, you say. I don't know how they got to that answer. I'm coming up with 53. You know.
Right.
Yeah, no. Seven when he wants to, he'll get up. Now he's like, he's decided 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. He's just got to go both times. I'm like, oh, okay. It's really easy. Not a problem, but I'm like, why? It's so close together. Like, why don't you just get it all out? Do you have to go out twice? Within the 3 hours, like, okay, just to make sure. That's fine.
I have this problem with my cat, not about going out because he has a kitty box in the house, but, you know, at like 5 a.m. now, he's also elderly. This cat. You know, at 5 a.m. he's just like, rah! Like, where I'm like, no, stop. But if I do that and I close the door and I, you know, make him stay outside of the bedroom, he just stands outside the bedroom screaming. So there's really no tough love thing you can do with this cat. So I get up, I feed him, then he quiets down, but then around, you know, and if this is 5 a.m., it's like, all right, I'm getting up in an hour anyway. But sometimes I like sleep a little longer, you know, and then, you know, he'll just be like, hi, Mom, it's 6:45, rah! I'm just like, what is wrong with you? You ate, go to sleep, take a nap. My God.
It's just because it's a type of routine. It's a type of routine.
It is. It really
Right,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there have been a couple times where like
does Otis ever go looking for sausages? Kitty sausages?
like
Does he eat
in the
sausages?
litter box?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I mean, this is why you have to be very diligent with the litter box. And, I probably miss things here and there. But, yes, he will. You can, and also, just like the way that my apartment is, like when he walks down the hall, even if my door is closed, because I close it at night just to, have sleep, it's like, I know what he's doing. And I was like, get out of there. And then you can hear like click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Little.
Good old kitty sausages.
Yeah, I remember
yes.
at one point, I was getting, Otis had to go somewhere, and I was going out of town, and I had, somebody who was going to feed the cats, and I was like, or maybe she was feeding. I don't remember this is a while ago, but I was like, yeah, and Otis sometimes like tries to go into the kitty litter, and she goes, oh yeah, I mean dogs do that. They love eating cat poop, and I'm like, can how do we stop that normalization? Because I don't like it. Don't eat cat poop. That's so gross.
So Sawyer, we have feral cats here, and they use our backyard. And when Sawyer, man, he loved cat poop so much, but it caused giardia. Then we go, well, we got to go to the vet now. What's wrong with you?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we'd take him to the vet, and they're like, yeah, he's got giardia. Do you do what you can? I'm like, what can I do? They're feral cats, and every time we used to try, and we like Sawyer, no, and he'd just look at us, he'd look at us and go. He would just go like, oh no, I don't want to go back to the vet for more pills, sample. This and that.
I know.
Wait,
These
in his old age,
animals,
he got
I mean,
really-
they'll just, they'll
they just do what they want. Yeah.
they're wild animals.
They really are.
Even though they're domesticated, it's like, oh my gosh. So, okay, I one more story and then I'm done. This morning, really early, it's hot in LA today. So, we were out pretty early just to kind of, have a nice leisurely walk before it got hot. And I go, just basically like a 2-block radius. And there's a cat like on the sidewalk in front of us. And Otis is like, you can feel him, and I'm like, don't do it. I'm wearing flip-flops. and the cat is just like, doesn't care about us at all. Looking at this tree, and the cat jumps into the tree, and I am not kidding, like 12 parrots go, like just
Fly.
exit the tree. Yes.
Oh my God, that's a lot. They living there. Oh no.
Yeah, I was like outside my front door, like I have like a family of parrots. It was awesome. It was actually awesome because the parrots like did this like weird thing in the sky, and then like just like went to the other side of the street and then gathered into another tree. And so the cat was like, all right, well, that didn't work. And Otis is like, what was that? Like, I don't know. I did not know we'd lived among parrots.
Oh my God.
It was awesome
Oh
though.
my
It was
God.
it was
That's
like
cool.
it was like
That's
one of those
cool.
one of those nature things
Yeah.
where you're like
were they all colorful?
they were mostly green.
Oh, okay.
Like green with like a little, I mean, I don't really know my parrots all that well, but I mean, they were parrots for sure.
Yeah.
And not like one or two. It was like a large family of parrots that this cat was trying to get to. And they're like, nah, we're not doing it. And Otis is like, what is happening? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know what this is. It's
Apparently,
nature.
parrots live in our neighborhood, which is so
awesome.
cool. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Probably
here we are.
ancestors were the parrot that I lost when I lived in Southern California. We had
What's
a
that?
full-grown parrot as a pet, And one day I opened the door and somebody hadn't closed up the cage and it just flew right outside.
That happened with the cockatiel when I was a kid. Yes, my parents, to this day, they say, no, we did not do that on purpose. And I'm like, not sure. Not sure. But,
Right. Well, what do you say
Anyway.
we get the show going here?
let's do it.
Hey, real quick. Tom is at the dentist, and if 7 comes home, I'll need to just stop and open the door and let him in. Just, I don't think he may not come home while Tom is out, but I just, in case I abruptly go, oh, I'm so sorry, guys, 7's here.
You edit the show, so you
Yes,
you
it'll
can
be
cut
on
it
me
out
anyway,
anytime
so
you want.
Okay. Prince
No
7
heartache
might
off
show
our
up,
back.
Oh, Prince 7. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get the show started.
Let's go.
I will count myself in 3, 2. It is Apple Vision Show, episode 57. Eileen Rivera, Sarah Lane here. It's been a couple weeks now. We had life stuff that got in the way last week, but we are back doing it all again. Eileen, how are you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to follow up. The last time that we chatted, we talked about the birthday of the Apple Watch. And I posted this on our socials, but I did go to the Apple store and I said, do you have that pin, that birthday pin? She's like, oh yeah, hang on. And then she said, did you close your rings? Just kidding. You don't need to tell me. Here you go. She gave me the pin anyway, which is really nice. So yeah, I did get it, and it's for the Global Close Your Rings. I don't know if I actually closed my ring that day, but they were very nice, and they gave that to me. So yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Well, it's funny because when I told you about it, I mean, not like I knew anything because I don't have one, but I was like, oh, I think it's this thing, and you were like, really? And I was like, I think so. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a real thing. And then later, after we had wrapped up our show, you were like, real thing. I went, and I was like, kudos to you, Eileen.
I was a little embarrassed because I was like, oh, what if I say it? And then they're like, what are you talking about? But she literally said, oh, yeah, I got you. Hold on. And then
That's
all
cute.
we wanted was the pin and left. So thank you. And again, happy birthday to the watch, who also, Sarah, another breaking news for me.
Okay.
The watch today, maybe we should do an episode on like when devices aren't go awry. But today it's like, congratulations, you hit your sleep goal. You slept over 8 hours. And then I looked at the time range, and I guess it thought I was sleeping at 10 p.m. while I was sitting on my couch, because it is wrong. I slept probably 6 hours, I think. I did not hit my sleep goal. So that's never happened to me before. So I was like, wow, what was changing on my pulse or my activity? Because I saw that it started the sleep cycle at like 10-ish, 10:30, and I literally was on the couch at 7. But I know we got up at like midnight or 11 because, Prince 7 wants to go outside before going to bed. And so I'm like, oh, what happened to my watch? It failed. I was a little disappointed today. I was like, wait, you never get this wrong. What did I do? What was going on with my body?
So I have actually, so we've talked about this, and I've had the same question about various things that happen, between, I'm going to bed or I'm getting up, because I tell it, it's 10:30 to 6:30. So that's my 10:30 p.m. If I'm not already kind of making moves to bed, it's just a good reminder. So I get the ding, 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 and sometimes I'm already in bed. and other times I'm like, no, I'm watching something. I get it. It's 10:30. But it's 8 hours, from 10:30 to 6:30. Do I sleep 8 hours? No. Almost never. I mean, I would love to. It's a good kind of reminder to try to do that, but I don't really do that ever.
Yeah.
But when I, part of the 10:30 to 6:30, part of the deal is that then, besides my mother, who can call me at all times, and I'll get that on my, if my phone is next to me, I'll get that on my watch. It is do not disturb. Do not disturb Sarah.
Yeah.
There's no thing that I want to hear about while I'm doing my sleepy time. But the watch is like smart enough to know that like if I get up to get some water in the middle of the night, then the watch is like, well, you should stand for another few minutes, and get your stand goal, where I'm like,
goal,
oh my God. The watch is like, well, you're up and we know you're up. Okay. And so then the rules change. In fact, just this morning, very early this morning, my cat was going crazy, and so I had to like get up, feed him, and just go back to sleep for a couple of hours. And my watch was like, boop, 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 boop. And I look at it, and it was like, your heart rate seems to be elevated for for not being doing anything physical. I'm like, I'm walking right now.
Yeah.
You like I got up, fed the cat, was annoyed, went to the bathroom, did my thing, and then went back to bed. And it's like, ooh, heart rate. I'm like, I wasn't asleep. So there are like weird things that the Apple Watch does sometimes in the middle of the night that I don't really understand.
Yeah, so it's not perfect, and I have to understand that. But I guess I was just shocked. I was like, wait. Also, I have not hit my sleep goal in forever. So maybe my watch was like, well, just pretend like you did. Here, you haven't done it in a long time. Let's pretend that you did, and maybe try again. It was like a reminder because I can't remember the last time I've gotten my sleep goal. So,
and what is your sleep goal? I mean,
8
because
hours.
we all have different goals.
8. I put 8. I should probably put
That's
7.
always mine too. I've been told so many times like you're supposed to sleep 8 hours. I mean, I'm lucky if I get 6.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I might push it to 7, but like 8 hours in a night, that is tough.
Yeah.
And I know some of you, who have a house full of children are like, yeah, well, I'm lucky if I get 3. But yeah, the 8 is tough, but it's always my goal. So that's why, where I'm like, all right, let's at least try. Let's try to hit it.
Yeah. I did know, even though I was up from like 10 to, let's say 11:30. But then we did go back to the couch, and I did fall asleep a little bit. But that was after 11:30. But it still said 10 o'clock. So I don't know. Maybe the watch just thought because I wasn't moving and I was just watching TV that I had fallen asleep. But then it didn't recognize that I literally, I know I got up, I got water, we went outside, I mean, there was a lot of activity, before I really, really went to bed. And it didn't track that at all. So I'm just saying it's a little disappointing. It was the first time I was really disappointed with the watch. I was like, oh, so the sleep apnea thing that I've gotten, now I'm like, I don't know. I forgot to talk to my doctor about it, everybody, but I'll mention it to her again next time. But I was like, do I really? Or do you have a faulty thing going on with you? Now I have trust issues with the watch. Just a little bit.
No. So you're saying that the Apple Watch is saying you might have sleep apnea?
Yes, it did. It did. And I was questioning it, and then I thought, oh, I'll just talk to my doctor about it, but I forgot. So I'm just relating it to this, where it clearly did not catch my sleep cycle correctly. So now I'm questioning the whole sleep apnea thing, which now I'm just admitting to everybody I have trust issues with the watch a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Well,
that's all.
Well, and I'm with you. I mean, listen, my Apple Watch is on my wrist all day, every day, unless I'm in the shower. That is the only time
And you charge it.
Yes, I have to charge it, but like I charge it in the morning where I'm sitting, drinking coffee, trying to wake up. Like you're not missing anything, Apple Watch. But otherwise, it really is. It's the computer that is on my body all day long. And I love it. I do. But yeah, like you're talking about the sleep apnea thing, or just like some sort of errant things that happen to me overnight. I'm sort of like, Apple Watch, what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
And
So,
even
you
like
know.
there are those times where I'm like, it's do not disturb. So, I'm wearing it. It's supposed to be monitoring my sleep. That's kind of it, really, and, health things in general. And I'll get like a dink, dink, and then I'll look at it and it's like, time to stand. Like, what are you doing? Like your updated everything about you should not be doing this to me right now. It's, 1:50 a.m. Like time to stand, Sarah. It's like,
What? No,
well,
you're
I
asleep.
was kind of awake anyway, but this is not helpful.
But you're on your like you're at the, what do you call it? The sleep. It's off. Like you're not supposed to get any notifications like that.
You're
right?
not. Yeah.
So
I don't know. I probably did something wrong. My mom and I were talking about this the other day because she is she's also an Apple Watch enthusiast. And we talk about our complications, on our screen. And and everything. And she was like, no, I don't wear it at night. Why would I wear it at night? And I'm like, well, it's good data, Mom. And she's like, I can't wear something on my wrist overnight. That's insane. And I'm like, I used to feel that way. I did.
Yeah.
And I also, truth be told, I would prefer not to. But like when you're used to it, it's just
it's not a bother
there.
anymore. Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And if
You
it
don't
were
even think about it.
if it were like pouring water out of it or like something weird, you'd be like, no, I can't do this in bed. But otherwise, I'm like, no, it's pretty easy. I just wear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Until it wakes you up in the middle of the night and you're like, what the?
Yeah, until it's like,
But
tap,
that's
tap,
rare.
tap, time
It's
to
rare.
stand. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, Eileen, we've got some interesting Apple news this week. There's a class action lawsuit against Apple about Siri. Technically, well, not technically, but as far as the one side of the situation is concerned is that Apple is doing a little bit too much spying using Siri. This is not something that, and sorry for saying Siri because I know that has upset people in the past. I will not say SIRI again during this conversation, but yeah, this goes back to a class action lawsuit from 2019, so some time ago, that alleged that Apple was infringing on privacy of users by capturing conversations overheard by its voice assistant without consent, and then passing the recordings to third-party quality control contractors. One thing about this story, and I'm not saying that Apple is not in the wrong here because, listen, if it was doing this, then it was in the wrong. If people didn't know about it, and they should have. But this is such a go back to 2019, everybody. And our world was very different.
Yes.
It's like everything is about like hearing you, knowing you, remembering everything that you said to the AI, in the last 5 months so that it can like be your better assistant and best friend. It really feels like we're in a different era.
And this, unintended activation is like 10 years. The span is 10 years, September 17th through 2024 to December 31st. September 17th, 2014 through December 31st, 2024. That's a long time. 10 years.
It
10
is.
years.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to fill out the claim, Sarah. And then, I haven't filled out one of these claims before. Usually, you get them in the mail and you're like, check a box, like, okay, and then put it back in the mail or whatever,
Right.
Just check a box online. Oh, no. This is like, fill out all of your information, your serial number, your model. And I'm like, my serial number? Like, if I'm thinking about a device and I'm not going to put my current device, I'm like, I don't got it. I already traded that in. I don't know. So I guess I'll just use my current device. And most of my devices are have been bought prior to December 31st, 2024. And so, yeah. Oh, and also upload proof of purchase. They make this hard. There's also drop your files here, upload proof. I'm like, I guess I'll go find that online and, screenshot it and da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, and then you put your direct deposit or mail me the check, So after you do all of that, you can do it up to 5 times. And then,
Really?
you could get $20 per device. So up to $100. There you go. I thought it was like almost $100 per device. So I was like, ooh, $100 for 5 devices. No. I had to read the fine line a little bit more. But that's still, it isn't that much work, but it is, right? Because I thought, oh, okay. Because if you're going to say I want to submit my iPad and my watch, I'm like, oh, now what's the model number? And where's my receipt? I mean, hopefully everything is, I could just grab from the, Apple store, but it's all of that, but you will be rewarded with up to $100, people. So I just wanted to kind of talk that through because I was shocked. I was like, oh, I had to sit here. I was literally doing this before the show. And I'm like, oh, let me do this real quick. No, this is not a real quick, people. Find your receipt, get your serial number and your model number. Then you can get that mailed to you who knows when after giving up all your information. There you go. So
yeah,
are you going to fill it out, Sarah? Are you going to fill it out?
I hadn't really thought about it, but now that we're talking about it, I'm like, I'll take $100.
Yeah.
Trust me,
right.
I won't say no to free money. But at the same time, is it just, I don't know, if I got to do it 5 times,
it's a
$20
latte
each.
It's like lattes are what, $10 now at these cafes. So
$10 for a latte? Goodness gracious!
8. I've seen 8. Yeah, I don't pay for that. I go for the cheaper ones, but they are expensive these days. So anyway, it's
I am drip coffee all the time. Mostly in my own house. I don't even drink coffee every day because I don't know, because who's got the time? But
yes.
But there are some times where I'm like, I just want to walk to a coffee shop with my dog.
Yes, exactly.
And and get something not fancy. I always get a drip every time. I am not a latte, cappuccino, whatever. I want the coffee, and oat milk would be nice if they have it. That's me. Yeah. But there was I guess, I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, went down to a coffee shop that's pretty near me, like maybe a mile away, but not easy walk. And they had changed up a bunch of stuff. The coffee shop was owned by somebody else, and they had all the stuff, but I was like, and I would like oat milk, please. And the woman behind the counter, it was so cute. She was like, well, you can do that yourself. And here's the station where you do that. And I was like, I'm so sorry. They didn't used to do that. What was the other owners like? You had to do it behind the you had to tell them what you wanted, and they would do it kind of like Dunkin' Donuts style, right? And she was like, well, I think you can do it yourself, ma'am. And I was hilarious. Like, sorry.
Oh, she's rolling her eyes. We got another bougie one here. You just go over there and pour it yourself.
Yep, young lady. Right over there. And I was like, my God. Sorry, I haven't been here in a while. I would never, I am not the kind of person who's like, make my coffee perfect for me, please. No, my God. But anyway, man. So it goes.
Well, because I've been training Seven to we could go to a cafe. We could, walk up and order. It's not a problem. So then I've been, over the last several weeks, I've been shelling out just because, I did the effort. So I'm going to go buy something. And I'm like, I always get drawn in. Oh, what is this golden fleck, mocha chino. So I'm like, what's this? This is the thing of the month? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I'm like, wait, how much was that?
Avocado flavored coffee.
I was
Why
like,
not?
wait, this is 9. Oh, okay, here, and thank you. And I'm like, okay, now I got to do the drip coffee thing because actually the other day I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm just give me a nice tea, like a cold iced tea, which was cheaper than anything else. Thank you very much. And then we did our exercise, but I guess WS Goddess says, I will absolutely go through the effort because $100 is $100. There you go. So hopefully we've shared
You know what?
that it is
That's
a thing.
true.
You know?
That's true.
$100.
Time is money, but money is also money.
Yes.
So there you
Yes.
go.
There you go.
Eileen, I don't know if you saw this came across my desk earlier when I was just kind of doing tech news in general. Bloomberg sources saying that Apple is trying to begin mass production of a chip for smart glasses with greater power efficiency and multi-camera control by the end of 2026 or maybe even 2027. So this is not happening. Like, we're not getting this at WWDC. Well, I guess we could at WWDC hear about it, but this is
Right.
probably not something that's going to be a thing for a couple of years. A lot of stuff in the Apple verse is a couple years out, right? We've got this whole foldable
Right. Yep, I
rumor
was about to say.
that feels like maybe more than a rumor, right? Like we might get that later this year. And because of that, the iPhone 18, which is supposed to be sort of a reimagined iPhone, maybe, being pushed to something outside of Apple's normal cycle. Apple's normal cycle has been in September, you hear about the iPhone, and you
Yep.
get it in October. That's what they do.
For
and
years.
we're so used to that for like I don't know, 15 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we are.
Does this, in hearing this, I haven't heard this yet, but is this the companion to the Apple Vision Pro, or is it the upgrade?
I don't
We
think
don't
it's
know.
I don't think it's either. Well, I mean,
It's its own
companion
category.
maybe. Companion
cat-
maybe, but
like a cyber
no,
cat,
I mean, the whole idea is this is well, and there's all sorts of people
Is
who
this Google Glass again? Is this a better Google
okay,
Glass?
so funny that you mentioned that because you have a lot of people who were very into Google Glass when it first launched, and the rest of us were just sort of like, doesn't seem, we're not ready, not ready for prime time. And I think a lot of those folks are the people who still feel like, we were first. These were cool. It just society was not ready for the Google Glass, but like it was a cool product. And so, Apple doing Apple's thing where it's like, all right, we've got the Vision Pro, let's call it a developer tool. Maybe we'll make like a model that's cheaper and lighter and works better for the consumer. But if we do more of a Meta glasses type thing, because the Meta glasses, I don't have a pair. I know you do, Eileen, which is older now, but
Yeah.
it is pretty well received. People like them.
Yeah.
They look like normal glasses. People are like, the AR experience is pretty cool. And I think that Apple is like, all right, that's what we need to do. So
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going with this. What I'm very curious about is how this disrupts or at least upends the kind of rollout of what Apple does. It's like you've got Apple Watch, you've got iPhone, you got Mac stuff, iPad stuff, but the phone is the one that is always in the same place, annually. So if we're changing that up, how are we going to change it up? It'll be an interesting year.
Well, maybe it's time for a change. Do we really
Maybe
need
so.
to upgrade all the time? So, and I have not tried the Meta Glass, but I've seen it at work, and it seems to spit out good like video and it's very like it just looks like glasses. You know what I mean? So it's not. I don't know. It just looks like you're just wearing glasses. So that's what we
Right.
want. Something simple like that.
I have this pair of Ray-Bans, not Meta Ray-Bans, but just Ray-Bans. That's, the sunglasses. And they're a little bit too big for me. They just kind of, I like them. I think they look cool, but I'm constantly like pushing them up on my face. And I've been thinking about this because I'm like, do I need a new pair of sunglasses? Like it just, you got to have like one pair of sunglasses that just fit nice. And maybe these just were a bad purchase. And it's like, if they were to do some AR stuff, if they were to have like, if I was in my car and the glasses were, let's say, this is something that Apple was working on. Something where I could have like a heads up display through the glasses if I'm wearing them. Saying like, are you in a school zone, or, a variety of things that, smart cars do now. I would love that. I would love that. I would love that to be Apple because, I'm in the Apple ecosystem.
Right. Everything connects. So, it'll just feel like it's a part of your life already. And hopefully, just be integrated seamlessly, because you don't want it to be like, whoa, awkward. How do I do this?
Indeed. Well, before we get into the rest of the show, let's take a quick break. All right, we're back from the break, and we're going to talk about the App Store. So, Eileen, when is the last time? If you want to share, what's the last app that you downloaded from the App Store?
Substack. The other day.
Substack.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I actually never had a Substack account. I mean, that seems like something I should have had a long time ago. I just never had it, and I was like, oh, I want to subscribe to this Substack finally. Like, I don't even remember which one it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was just sort of like work from home, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, this seems interesting. It just led me to the app, and I was like, oh, okay, let me do this for the first time. So yeah, it was Substack the other day, which, many of you are like, what? You don't have it? Like, I know. It took me forever.
I don't have Substack on my
iPhone. You don't have the
iPhone.
app? Oh, you just use it on your desktop?
I use it. Well, I use it weekly because we put Daily Tech News show content onto Substack. But no, I don't think I've ever once used it on my phone. I'm also weird. I'm a weird iPhone user where I love my phone. In fact, as you were talking just now, I was like rummaging through my purse, like, where's my phone? I don't even know where it is. It's somewhere in this house. I don't use my phone all that much. I use it if I'm out of the house. If I'm out of the house, that's my computer for sure. I mean, that and the watch. But when I'm in the house, I'm just not. Sometimes people, where I look at them, I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? And they're like, what are you doing on your computer? I'm like, I want a bigger screen and I want a keyboard. That just works better for me. Because I was talking to my co-host on Have Such a Good Day, Heather Frank. She's going on like a multi-week international vacation, and she's like, "Do I take my laptop? Do I deal with my phone? Should I do like an iPad thing?" And I was like, I mean, if it were me, I would take the laptop. But if you're really just trying to just not pack stuff, then maybe think iPad plus keyboard. That would be a good option. I mean, I know when people travel, and you've been traveling lately, Eileen. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't bring my laptop because it's heavy. It just adds, like, I have my backpack, and I don't know, it just makes I feel like it's too heavy. So it's literally my phone and my iPad. Those are the two. I don't even bring the keyboard with this. So I just kind of
Yeah.
decide I'm not going to go heavy into, documents or anything like that. And I just use apps. So I have to say now, I don't look at Substack on my desktop, obviously, because I just subscribed once. And the app is really nice. And it's really easy to find things. And WS Scottus wants to know if Substack is starting to branch out into non-political stuff. Well, that's all I've subscribed to. Unless you consider AI political. There's
there's
one
plenty
AI
of
Substack.
non-political stuff.
So many things.
yeah.
So,
I
even
get
cooking.
what the question is, because you do get I actually did subscribe to a few things that, well, not only Substack, but like mostly Substack, where it's like, yeah, it kind of veered into something where I'm like, this just isn't something that, not even that I don't like the content, but
Yeah.
just like, I can't consume this every day. I don't have time. You know,
Yeah.
I have to I have to do my own thing. I have to work.
Yeah.
Which is sort of, that's the dilemma that we all have, right? Is like, we want everyone who's listening to our show right now to, be with
Stop and
us,
listen. Yeah.
of course. And at the same time, we know that people just get busy. And it's you can only subscribe to so many things unless you literally just sit down on the couch and read all day. I would love to do that. For the record, that is my dream life, but that is not reality. So yeah, a lot of Substack stuff. I have to kind of pick and choose, but I still have my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that was the last one. That's the last one. And otherwise, in terms of apps, I have a lot. And I've actually been trying to delete the ones that I don't use. In fact, sometimes, I'll see something and I'll go, oh, yeah, let me download that. And then I don't really play with it. And months later, I'm like, what is this? Why did I download? So I have to look it up, or I have to open it up. And if it's asking for, a subscription or something like that, I'm like, no, I didn't even know that I had it on my phone. So delete. And there we are. But yeah, I've been trying to clean out my app consumption. And there's a lot for me to go through right now. It's just a lot.
Back in the day when you and I both worked at This Week in Tech, Twit, and I was doing not only an iPad show, iPad Today, but also a show basically about iPhone apps called i5 for the iPhone. And so I was just downloading all apps all the time, playing around. Is this a cool app? Is it not? Does it work for me? Blah, blah, blah. And I mean, my phone got extremely cluttered, but it was also, it's fun research, right? It was my job. And now I'm like, I don't download apps ever. I mean, if there's an app that, gets updated, right? Like Netflix, for example, like, Netflix, a whole new thing for the iPhone. I'm like, oh, I want to check that out. But otherwise, I don't download apps anymore. It's kind of like I've gotten very sedentary about, the Apple photo app that is used to be sort of like, you take a photo and then you put it through all sorts of other filters on other apps. Like that used to be like a whole thing that you did. And now the Apple app is really good for photos. You can kind of like, I mean, sure, if you want to get like really creative, you would use third-party apps, but otherwise it's pretty good. And then it's like, all right, well, if I want to like, I don't know, tweet something, x.com, that still works. All right, that's still there. And Instagram, of course, because, my dog has an Instagram account, so it's very important that we have that, on our home screen. And I've got, my weather widget. I've got my calendar widget. And it's like I haven't moved stuff around on my home screen in quite a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
I keep just I just like, oh, what's this? Well, some of it is trying, right? When, like for instance, when I thought CapCut was going away, I was like, oh my God, I have all these like video editing apps that I know I don't need because it's back for now at least. And then some of it was travel related, some of it was, Japan stuff or Korean stuff. And then honestly, some of it was AI stuff because I wanted to understand how AI was working on some of these apps. But the problem is they're all like, join for a free trial, and then after a week it's going to charge me like $12.99. I'm like, oh, I don't want to forget that. I don't want to do all that stuff. So I am curious about how some of like apps work differently on the phone, and maybe because I use my iPad a lot too. You gotta have apps there. So I just like to tinker and just see what's going around. But then in the meantime, I have all this all these apps that are taking up storage space. I have a ton of storage, but I'm like, let me prune, let me clean house, because I think it's I'm not using a lot of this, and I'm just like flipping pages to find stuff when I don't need it. So, but yeah,
I'd be really curious. Anybody out there who's like, oh, so Eileen is on the tinkering side, and I'm kind of on the like, I don't know, it works for me side. Like, I don't want to just change stuff around, all day, every day. If you found an app or at least a way to use an app or anything, in the iOS universe that is worthy of discussion, do send it our way. feedback@applevisionshow.com.
Yes, please, please, please. Do we, part of our story was related to the whole the App Store change and payments.
Yes.
I haven't really paid for stuff in a while on my phone. Actually, I haven't paid for stuff that made me go to an external site in a long time. I've paid for stuff in app, and it just does the double click. I double click on my phone, using Face ID or whatever. And like, I bought whatever on the phone. But it's been a while since I've seen something, and it's just because I don't like to purchase in app. I'm tinkering and I'm having fun downloading apps and using them, but I'm not purchasing in-app stuff. It's very rare for me to do that, especially when they're like, use this filter, but it's extra blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, pass. I don't need that filter. That's where I'm like you, Sarah, where I'm like, no. Now I don't need this because I don't need it to look like that. I'm fine with what they give us. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've been like, you need to go to the app developer website, and then you're about to leave. The only time actually I have to leave is if it's like an Instagram ad, and then it's like, here, you want to go. This is going to open up to a different, if you want to see the site, you can go to an external source. But it's been a while. I'm assuming, Sarah, you haven't bought anything in a while on your phone either. But
I really haven't. Like, I mean, I'm probably forgetting something, but yeah. I honestly, like, I don't know when I bought anything on my phone. I mean,
Amazon I have, but it stays in the app.
Well, like Amazon or Venmo or,
right.
I mean, there are a variety of things that I do where I'm like, I'm paying for things using a mobile device. Mm-hmm. I'm not, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, who has never had a phone before, but I don't do it that often, like in-app payment stuff. A lot of that is like, if you do a lot of games, or just, I don't know, I guess really games, then that would be something that would be a part of your experience. I know with Duolingo, for example, I'm actually on a family plan with somebody who very generously added me to their plan. But otherwise, when I was on the free plan, I'm like, I'm not paying for this. I'm doing it for fun. But it became something where it was like, you're not trying hard enough to learn French. you know? So I was like, so, you know, that's like, you know, you get a lot of in-app purchases with stuff like that too, which is
Yeah.
a gamification way of learning a language, I suppose. And not like, you know, it's fun. It's not like it's like, ooh, predatory or anything. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what are the things that I would really purchase in app these days? I don't know.
I mean, if it's like bonus content, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but the way I think, I'm like, do I really need that bonus content? You know, can I find it elsewhere instead of like going, you know, to purchase it in the app? Probably, but I did think though, when you link out and have to move to an external website, you know, to make those purchases, I always thought like, man, why is this taking so long? I don't like that. You know, I get why. Maybe no, I don't really get why, but it just actually when some of I might say no when it does the like go to the website, go to the developer website, and then I just say okay, no, I don't want to do that. So that's only a fraction of the story, but yeah, I
mean, the whole story of like, okay, so let's say you're you, Eileen, and you've got an option of like just like one click button within the App Store, and Apple gets 30% of the revenue of, you know, the company that you're actually buying the thing from, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's, you know, a tangible item or, you know, something that's, you know, in the ecosystem. A lot of people just don't care. And I know some people care very much.
Yeah.
For sure. But a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't really care like which company gets the money. I'm just going to click the button and do the thing. And, you know, that's the seamless experience that Apple has promised us. Right. So that's part of where I think Apple is coming from, is like, yeah, well, you know, I mean, we're Apple and we just want to make everything so perfect for everybody. And other companies are like, no, it does not work that way. And if you do know, and you do care about, you know, what company gets the money that you're paying either way, right? It's like, where's your money going? Do you care if it goes to Apple, or do you care if it's like Apple and also Epic Games?
Yeah.
That is a personal decision. But Apple, you know, feet to the fire at this point. The company is not allowed to do that anymore. Not the way it's been going anyway. So
Right. And I mean, if I was a small business owner of an app, I would not, you know, I would be happy with this right now. And I know Apple's appealing it, but that's a chunk. That is a chunk. I feel like we talked about this several months ago related to Patreon and how, well, you don't have to pay Apple. You could just go to their website online and, you know, do whatever you need to pay, and it goes straight to the company. There's no Apple cut. So, but like you said, most people don't care and they don't even think about it, and they just do it. Click, click, okay, whatever, how many clicks I need, you know. They don't stop like me and go, oh, this is annoying, I'm not going to pay for it. You know, they just do it, and then thus the business loses, you know, 30%, which that's a lot. That's a lot to me. After like 100 transactions, that's a lot. I mean, I feel like if you are able to advertise and put your app on the App Store, sure, there's going to be a bit of a commission, but should it be 30%, like, or 27%, whatever it is? That's really hefty.
Yeah.
Is it just because you're on a premium device, which what Apple is always saying that they are, and because of that, you have, you know, you're paying, it's like paying for land in a more, you know, expensive area of town versus, you know, elsewhere that's cheaper. So
that's a good way to put it.
Okay, I guess, you know, I have to pay more because I'm in front of more Apple people, and they're all premium people.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully it just means that they get more transactions, but you know, with those eyeballs on the app. But yeah, it always comes, there's always a cost. There's a cost with everything. There just is.
I know.
But
I really
apparently
wish
now,
more things were
Apple can't charge.
free. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Oh, when I found
wouldn't
eggs
it?
for $15.99, I was like, oh hell no! But then I found it again for $6.99 elsewhere. I'm like, thank you. I mean, it's still too high, but like,
I actually had
you know?
the price of eggs is so it's so weird. And I think it really depends on, where you're shopping, where you live, all the things. But I had a dream the other night that eggs were $100, like a carton of eggs, and I was like, that's insane. And
Wow.
it's too much for me. I love eggs, but I don't love them that much.
12
And I
eggs
remember
for
waking up and I
$100.
was like, is that real? Are eggs $100?
You're like, I guess I could do without eggs. How would I like? I just won't
yeah,
do it,
like I just
you know?
my breakfast will have to be vastly different because I eat eggs most mornings. But like, I'm not paying $100 for a dozen eggs. That's crazy. That is
Wow.
not. I don't think that's true anywhere. If it is, sorry, and let us know. But but also it's like there are, I don't even know why we're talking about eggs now, but
know,
there
I'm
are
sorry I brought it up.
like 2 grocery stores that are really close to me. I mean, not really walking distance, but like almost. There's a Ralph's, which is very large, and there's a Sprouts, Sprouts is like the kind of like organic-y LA food, Whole Foods-ish kind of thing. So they're different. They just have different stuff. And the Ralph's is actually the better store, but it's just, sometimes it's just crazy. It's so, like it's like the lines, just to get through even to do the self-checkout kind of thing. Anyway, I went to Sprouts the other day, cleaned out of eggs, no eggs, not a carton. And I was like, I asked somebody who worked there, I was like, no eggs? And they're like, yeah, it's really bad. Tariffs or whatever it is,
Yeah.
bird flu. And then I went to Ralph's and it's like, they had like 1 million cartons of eggs.
You just had to stand in line longer.
And the 2 of them are like 2
Right next to
blocks
each
away from each other. Yeah, you just have to stand in line to get your eggs. But yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
And it wasn't about price either, right? It wasn't like Sprouts was
No, it was
considerably
like
less expensive.
it was just like, do you have eggs? and again at Ralph's, which is, for anybody who's not familiar, it's Albertsons, right? It's the Albertsons chain.
I think
so
it's like
it's
Bonds,
Ralph's,
maybe? Yeah,
Albertsons Pavilions, I think.
Pavilions, yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Who knows? But big grocery store, just like a big grocery store that you would expect to have eggs at, and there they were. So, anyway,
You're like, I'm gonna get them.
yeah.
Sorry for that tangent, guys.
You just gotta
Kroger. It's
get-
related to Kroger, everybody.
Oh,
There you
it's
go.
Kroger. Yeah, I
okay.
don't know anymore. I don't know who owns who. It's hard
I
to
know.
to keep track. I know what tech company owns what tech company, but when it comes to grocers and even car companies, I'm like, huh? Who?
Oh, yeah. Who owns what now? Anyway.
Well, before we get out of here, Eileen, what's going on with your Apple TV Plus viewing experience?
I just, right before the show, watched episode 5 of Your Friend and Neighbors.
And
I mean, I'm still in it. I feel like now we're getting to know more neighbors, more friends, like deeper, like knowing them even more. Like there's the guy that I forget. Does he manage John Hamm? His friend, anyway, he lives in the neighborhood and he's like, out of money because John Hamm's out of money. And I guess we're getting to know about him and his family, and down to the, his wife's, parents are like, I wish he would learn Korean, I'm like, okay, why are we going so deep in this guy? Like, okay, like we're starting to get really deep with other characters that I didn't expect. I just thought we would focus on him and his family. And we haven't even readdressed why he got fired. That's been like 3 episodes since then. So, but I was correct. I mean, we talked about this in the first episode that there is a death. It's like the very first scene. I was correct. I knew who it was. I was correct. So things are unfolding, and like I said, we're getting deeper with each character. But I'm like, why? I guess we need to, But I'm like, I hope it just doesn't confuse the situation. Maybe it all like converge at one time at the end in some explosive way. But I'm intrigued. I'm still intrigued. It's an easy watch. It really is. It's not something that like hurts you to watch or is painful. It's just like, all right.
Well, I'm glad to hear that
This
you're not in
happened,
pain
and
watching it.
'Cause sometimes you watch things and they're very like traumatic to watch. And I have a hard time watching some.
No, it's true. No, I know what you mean. Like there's certain I have such a long list. Most of it like documentary stuff.
Okay.
Where it's like I'm just like I just know this is gonna be it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm not in the mood.
and so it's like, yeah, not that I don't want to, have hard things in life. Like I don't really want to have hard things in life, but when it comes to entertainment / learning, then I think that, a movie that's like, oh, it's going to be a tough one is always the one where I'm like, I will put it on the list. I'll get to it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe
This
not.
one is-
or I'll
this
just
one's-
watch reality television about people building houses in Hawaii.
Oh God. Oh, please. That sounds wonderful.
I'll
But
send
no,
you the link.
this show is very, like I said, very easy to watch. Like he is a thief, and the things that he steals just keeps escalating. I'm like, oh, now you're gonna do that? Okay, and he keeps getting deeper and deeper in that
Right.
situation. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to, I hope everything converges in a way that makes sense at the end. But yeah, he's in a whole heap of trouble, and we still don't know how he's going to even deal with it. So,
Well,
it just
you are
resurfaced.
officially ahead of me. I don't
Okay.
think I've watched the show since we talked about watching episode 3. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
no spoilers.
I'm telling
but,
you, it's easy to have on in
I'll
the
catch
background.
up. I'll
I
catch
think
up.
this is a show where you could actually have it on in the background, and then you'll look up at the right time and go, okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Like the details, I don't think it's
I
not
know
like
what you
Severance
mean.
where you need the details. Like I literally was playing
Yeah.
like a little video game on my iPad and watching it like, oh wait. Oh, there was one time that I did need to rewind because I'm like, wait, I think this is important. And I'm glad I did. But the rest of it, no.
Isn't that
You know
funny
what's
how we definitely talk about well, I mean, you and I are right this second, but we talk about shows where it's like, oh yeah, you can't have your phone. Like, no. You are you got to be like dialed into that show or it won't make any sense to you. And there are other shows or movies that you're kind of like, I'm invested. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way I feel about for example, my Warriors are playing later tonight.
Okay.
And that is a me holding the laptop because I have to
Okay.
check Twitter or X,
Oh, yes,
every
yes,
5
yeah.
seconds. Like it's like that's like the way that I do it kind
Yeah,
of thing.
that's the
Like
way you watch.
second
Sure.
screen, very important. But then there are, like there'll be a movie where it's like, no, we're watching the movie. The movie has started. We're watching the movie. And then there's other stuff where I'm like, yeah, I can kind of work right now. And I get it. I'm getting the plot for the
Yeah.
most part. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a rewind every once in a while. Like, what? Why did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that other guy came in. Otherwise,
But you could do it real
otherwise-
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not like, even if you missed it, like it's not a big deal. Actually,
Right.
when I rewound and I heard what this character had to say, I was like, oh, okay. But thinking back, did I really need to hear that? No, actually, no. I didn't really need to. It's important to really understand the plot, but if I
Yeah.
missed it, I probably would understand it later. You know what I mean? It's such a minor thing. Anyway, that's.
I also find it, I watch shows I mean, mostly just, not in the same room, virtually with friends. I have friends where it's like, we're watching this show and then I'm watching some other show with another friend type thing. And there will be, a time where I'm like, so like, why did she, I didn't get that. And they're like, oh, here's why. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I don't actually have to watch the whole episode again.
Right.
It just, if you're kind of, with somebody who's like, yeah, no, I got that little scene that you didn't get because maybe you were looking at your phone or some other reason.
You know what? I also apologize to John Hamm. I don't mean to say that your show is not important to watch fully focused. It's just, you don't have to. And it's just so well done that you will understand what's happening. Even if you missed a few things.
There you go. There you go, John Hamm. Thank you for carrying the show so well that Eileen can kind of, half pay attention.
I mean, I'm not like reading articles. I'm just playing like a video game, Maybe I'm checking X, but that's about it. I'm not like, invested in a second screen that bad. So, sometimes I like to just play a little video game on the side, especially if it's like a really tense scene. Like with The Last of Us or Andor recently, if people are watching that, I get a little intense. So I was like, okay, let me just, it's a little sedative to like move things on the screen while things are happening. And like, oh, look at me, I got all these points. What's happening up there? It just gives me a little, it stops me from being completely anxious about the scene. So
speaking of The Last of Us, yes. I don't even know how. I'm a big fan of the show. Big fan. I don't know how this happened, but somehow, because I think it's the NBA playoffs and I don't know, I'm all over the place when it comes to watching things at night. I did not watch the latest episode when it was released. So last night I was like, just kind of clicking around, like what do we got? Just after basketball ended, I just want to watch a little something before bed. Yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't remember that thumbnail. And I start it and I'm like, oh my God, this is the latest episode and I hadn't watched it yet. And I hadn't even thought about it. It's crazy, which just goes to show you that we have so much that we can watch and so many people like different things. And that's great. That's great. I mean, it's so fun to have choice. But I was like, this is insane. I mean, here I am, Sarah Lane, and I have not watched the latest episode of The Last of Us until Wednesday after it was released on Sunday. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you didn't get spoiled.
Didn't get spoiled. No.
I mean, because
I don't do a lot of spoiler stuff online.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if I go searching for it, like, of course, you can get a spoiler. But like, it just wasn't on my mind, so I didn't even. I didn't see anything. Anyway, well, listen, we could talk about TV and movies all day, but for the purposes of saving some of it for next week, we will go ahead and wrap up this episode 57 of Apple Vision Show. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and big thanks to those of you who are with us live when we record the show. And we'll see you next time.
Lovely time.
It was lovely.
No, I don't think I don't know how to glam. Wait. G. James B. I don't know how we would have incorporated the American Pope in our conversation, but we incorporated eggs. He's like, news, American Pope. It's like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
I guess I could say I watched the situation go down. I watched the cloud on change to black on my Apple. No, I actually didn't, but I saw the thumbnail. Like, you can watch live, and the smoke is black.
I have this group of friends who we just like talk on Slack all day about just work and life, and it's great. But some of them this morning, like, because they're on the East Coast, so they were talking for hours before I even got up, and
Oh, yeah.
saw, what everybody else was talking about. But it was like, like Leo the 19th, or, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm not a Catholic.
Don't remember
so I
the
don't really
number.
know what I'm
Yeah.
doing
Okay.
here. But I was like, what is happening in religion today?
Oh,
And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh, new pope. And so, yeah, I watched the white thing, and the doves. And I was like, this is a very, very big deal for a lot of
it's
people.
a big deal. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there was a lot of like, ooh, there could be a Filipino pope. There could be a Mexican. There was a lot of like,
Right,
ooh, who's
right,
going to be
yeah.
the next pope? I was like, oh, okay. Turns out he's a White
From
Sox fan.
Chicago.
A White Sox fan, guys. So there you go. Sorry, Cubs fans. He is a White Sox fan, which makes my husband very happy. He's like, "Oh, this guy, yes." I was like, "Okay, are we going to be more practicing
Yep,
Catholics
right,
now?"
right. Well, I mean, it's you have time,
time,
to
yeah,
decide
yeah,
that or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, does he use an American phone or foreign? Sam said, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe he'll have a chat, and you can ask him on the
Whichever one has the better Latin keyboard.
Okay, I don't know which one that would be.
I'm sure they're the same.
I actually, I mean, all kidding aside, I wonder if, like, everybody who, and Eileen, you and I know somebody who lives at the Vatican.
Yes.
I wonder if, there's some sort of like, like Catholic version of a smartphone that is used in a situation like that.
The Pope phone?
I don't know. I don't know the answer. That might be something that people know about or not. I don't know. But Heather Frank, co-host of Have Such a Good Day, going to the Vatican, just as a tourist in June.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it's like really hard to like go there. Like, you're going to Rome in June.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
summer in Italy. I mean,
Yep.
it's going
was
to be
about to
hard
say,
to
it
like
wasn't-
get into cool places. So
Yeah, we went in September, so I mean it was still pretty busy, but we were able to
Yeah.
kind of walk the Vatican. And
I mean, I think it's one of those places that's going to be busy all times of year, but especially in the summer.
yes, yeah, it's like when we went to Japan for cherry blossom season, and it was like everything was double expensive, flights, hotels, like
Because everybody wants to,
Yeah.
because it's beautiful, right?
yeah, it's beautiful. Everybody wants to do it.
Yeah.
We don't tend to do high time, like we would go off season, but that wasn't the plan this year. So had to go. But
Yeah. Well, at least you got to see it.
oh yeah, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I don't regret. Now I can say I've seen it. I had been not avoiding it, but it was more of like, oh, there's gonna be so many people. Oh, I don't know if I want to go during that time. Well, family decide to choose, so I'm like, okay, I'm going.
Well, that's
Can't
what happens
wait.
sometimes. Yeah.
It wasn't that bad, actually. It really wasn't that bad, the crowds. So I was expecting more, but not a problem.
I've only been to Japan once, but I was there for like a few weeks. Saw a fair amount of stuff.
Yeah.
And that would have been 2010. So a while ago, but it was in April, so it was cherry blossom season. Tokyo through Osaka, like it was just, I mean, so many blossoms. And I mean, it's so beautiful that you're just like, how is this real?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it did feel very crowded. And I don't really even mean like crowded tourist wise, but it was just people
Everybody.
just wanted to like, I mean, picnics and, you're just out and about, like every street is really crowded. Like it was crowded. It
Yeah.
felt,
Yeah. Yeah, because
yeah.
the Japanese are all happy. It's like, ooh, it's so pretty. Everybody wants to be out there.
Yeah, let's have a
especially if you live
picnic.
there. Move out of my way, tourist.
Right.
This is my cherry blossom tree. I live in it.
Right. Yeah, we actually, my travel partner and I ended up going up to Nagano just
okay,
because
never
we
been.
were like, why not? Let's see what's up. And it's like snowy at that point. And so pretty, but so different and just so quiet. It was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Nice.
this
Yeah.
is really cool and just like
Yeah.
serene. No one's
Yeah.
around.
Tokyo,
like the
Kyoto,
snow
Osaka.
falling.
Yeah.
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 Very
those-
different.
The bigger cities are yeah.
There, yeah,
lot of people.
it's a
A
lot.
lot of people.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Ah.
All right, everybody. This was
right.
fun.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Should we say
Indeed.
goodbye to the stream? Amos, he left, I think. I don't know. Are you?
Yeah,
he leave because he had to step
Amy's
away?
wandered off into the cherry blossoms.
All right.
How he does.
I will end the stream for us. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for being here. We'll talk to you later. Yes, travel if you can. And we will see you next week.
Yay!
Let me hit this.